everybody, I'm Pat O'Keefe. I'm trustee and vice president of the Belmar Historical Society. And today we're going to be talking about more transportation. The first transportation segment we did was number 5, Spotlight on Belmar History. And today we're starting where we left off in 1875 when the first train came to Ocean Beach, thereby opening up transportation easily to sell the lots and build houses in Ocean Beach. So here we are now, and the town is building up, and we hear that Asbury Park has a trolley system, and it runs around the town and is very useful. And the powers that be think, well, if they have a trolley system, we want one too. Oh, it's a little more complicated than it seems, because the trolley also had to run through Bradley Beach, Avon, and Neptune City, and they needed permission from all of those towns to run the trolley. There were also complications because of the competing trolley companies. I have this wonderful book by Trolleys in the East Coast by Joseph Eade, which was donated to us by John Saliga, and it tells a lot about how the development of trolleys came to be along the shore towns. I counted in his book 18 competing companies for the rights to have the trolley service. So it must have been very profitable, and everybody wanted a piece of the transportation pie. Anyway, in 1893, the Asbury Park and Belmar Street Railroad Company was formed, and they started building the trolley tracks through Avon and Bradley Beach and across the Shark River, which was tricky. What they wanted to do was add a trestle to the side of the existing Main Street Bridge. And they did that eventually, as you can see in this picture. There's a trestle on one side for the trolley, a pedestrian walkway, and then space for cars and horses and wagons. Remember, at this time, horse and buggies were king still, and there weren't very many, if any, cars around. It would be rare. The trestle was only one track, and it was always the bottleneck of the whole system, because when the trolley tracks were extended into Belmar, there was only one track and only 2 trolley cars that ran back and forth between Asbury Park and Belmar. The end of the line was Belmar on 16th Avenue. The little refurbished former horse or mule-drawn trolleys were used, and they had the nickname Dinky. So I looked up Dinky to find out what it meant, and it means small and cute. And I guess that's what they were. They were smaller than the trolleys that were used in Asbury Park. So we have this one-line system, and everybody has to wait to go over the bridge until the other trolley is finished. The double-line system came soon after, and by, let's see, 1913, the trolley line was extended down to Seagirt, so it could service the training army camp in that area. So the trolley system, people loved it. The fare from Belmar to Asbury Park was only 5 cents, but there were a number of problems that they ran into. The first problem was snow. They tried putting a plow on the front of the trolley, but all that did was push the snow onto the tracks right next to it of the trolley going the other way. So they would have to hire crews of men to dig out the trolley tracks. They had derailings. Remember, they're building this on sand and gravel, and in a heavy snowstorm, it would get undermined on the rails, and sometimes the trolley would come off the rails. There were actually accidents where people on bicycles or people walking would get hit by a trolley. There were unruly passengers who might be coming home late from a night carousing, who caused trouble for the conductors and motormen. At one point, there was a broken trestle over the Shark River Bridge, which took weeks and weeks to repair, so no trolley service happened at that time. The employees for the trolley company were unionized, and they would strike for higher wages and stop trolley service. During World War I, there were coal shortages. Coal was used to produce the electricity for the trolley lines. Of course, in the beginning, when horses were pulling the trolleys, you didn't have that problem. But once the lines were electrified, the electricity had to be produced somewhere. There were competitions from what they called jitneys. And jitneys were unlicensed, privately owned autos that tried to pick up a few dollars here and there to taxiing people. And they would go ahead of the trolley to the next trolley stop and solicit the passengers waiting for the trolley to come and say that they would take them where they were going. And in addition, they offered door-to-door service, which of course the trolleys couldn't do. My husband told me a funny story. He grew up in Philadelphia where they had a big trolley system. And he said that young boys, 10 to 12 years old, would, on purpose, push the connection to the electricity on top of the trolley off the wire. So the conductor would have to leave and go to the back and reconnect it. And then they would sneak on the trolley so they could have a free ride. Also, if they were lucky enough to have a bicycle, they could hook on to the back of the trolley and hold on and get a little tow, at least until they got kicked off. I thought that was a funny story. All right, so the trolley lasted until 1931, and on September 30th, that was the last trolley that came over the Shark River Bridge. The Coast City Railroads, which at that point owned the trolley system, substitute buses. So the internal combustion engine wins, and they start to take over buses, trucks, and cars very slowly, but eventually did away with all the old horse and buggies. We have from reliable sources the fact that when the Main Street tar or asphalt erodes, or they're doing construction on the roads, that you can actually see the old trolley tracks. I have never seen them, but I would sure like to, so if anybody comes across a situation like that, if you would let the Historical Society know, we'll go take a picture. Older pictures, I like to see them. They have all the forms of transportation. You can see the trolley coming, you can see people walking, you can see kids on bikes, you can see horse and wagons, and you can see the very first cars that appeared in Belmar in the very same picture. It's very, very cute. Okay, so automobile takeover was very slow. So in 1908, the Model T Ford was produced, and it was mass produced, so it was more generally available to the public, and that was because of Ford's use of the assembly line. You could get a car any color you wanted as long as it was black. It wasn't until a good time later that the various color cars that we see today started being produced. In 1914, Belmar had their very first auto service station. It was called Coast Garage, and it was at 7th and F Street, F being Main Street. By 1940, there was one auto supply store, 2 auto sales rooms, the Belmar Ford and Gundyker's Chrysler Plymouth. There were 7 gas stations, including this cute picture of the Art Deco Quackenbush station at 8th and F. So we're into the age of cars, and you can see from all of them parked along the beachfront that it looks like We have the same problem today. All the parking places are taken. I don't think they were parking meters then, but everybody wanted to go to the beachfront. And Sunday drives, like you can see the Salmon family in their picture, are going out touring. Maybe they'll stop and get ice cream. It was a usual thing in my family too. I hope that you enjoy these spotlights, and I want to let you know that they are now available both on the Belmar Historical Society website, on our Facebook page, and now, brand new, on YouTube. So enjoy them all, and thank you.